Okay, y'all know what time it is again. It's time to do a monthly wrap-up of everything I read, watched, listened to this month. So for our tiers here, I did Stardew Valley characters. Starting off at the bottom, Abigail, fuck that bitch. She doesn't get to have the egg hunt and Sebastian, so she needs to pick a lane. She needs to pick a struggle. Fuck you, stop coming after my man. Sebastian chose me. Sorry, you couldn't see his full potential until he was already taken by someone way better, but... Then we have Marnie. Like, girl, just get your life together. You could do so much better than Mayor Lewis. Why are you simping? Why are you simping? Get you a man that isn't afraid to be with you. Get you a man that doesn't make you have little rendezvous in the town at midnight in the bushes when everyone's asleep anyway. Then we have Alex. He was there. We have Grandma Evelyn. Send me more cookies, babe. I will eat them up. Nom, 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 nom. Then we have my husband, Sebastian. Okay, can I say something that's a little embarrassing, just between us? Every playthrough I've ever done of Stardew Valley, I married Sebastian. Even if I told myself, okay, we're not going to marry Sebastian today. We then marry Sebastian. So, he's obviously number one. Let's get started. First and foremost, Dead by Daylight. You already know, hubby Sebastian. Come on. It's Dead by Daylight. We all know how I feel about that game. I did spend some money and get some new costumes for Lara Croft, who's become my Survivor main. So, also 2v8. This was my first time playing 2v8. I don't really, if I'm being honest, like it. Can I say something controversial yet brave? I don't like 2v8 that much. It's not my favorite. Okay, well, might as well just do the other game I played today. We have Fields of Mystria. Fields of Mystria is another farming simulator. It is compared a lot to Stardew Valley, but there's like magic in it. And there's this one character named March who hates me, so I need to make him fall in love with me. I will say Fields of Mystria is also a little bit like brighter in color than Stardew Valley, I feel like. It is no Stardew Valley. It is just Evelyn, because I do enjoy playing it, and I have been playing it a lot this month, but it doesn't compare to Stardew Valley or Dead by Daylight. Let's go to the one TV show I watched. This is Fit for TV. It's the reality of The Biggest Loser. Basically, it's a tell-all documentary about The Biggest Loser, the filming and making of The Biggest Loser. I don't know how many seasons it ran for, but The Biggest Loser was a reality TV show back in the day, which I used to watch. Honestly, when I was a little kid, I used to watch The Biggest Loser. Not great for the mental health. Basically what it was this reality TV show where these people who are obese come in and they are trying to get fitter and they're trying to change their diets, but these people are totally 100% taken advantage of. They admit in this reality show, the key to weight loss is your diet, not necessarily working out. I mean, yeah, working out is good to keep you like fit and healthy in general, but it doesn't really help that much with weight loss. It's all about diet. In this show, they would starve their contestants to lose weight and then force them to work out for like 8-hour days and scream in their faces. And then we'd also have these challenges that were low-key embarrassing. And like one challenge was called the Temptation Challenge, where it was just like foods with a bunch of calories in it, like temptation foods. Prison, Biggest Loser. I will say I was a little surprised though to see that the doctor, because I remember the Dr. Huizinga, I was a little surprised to see that he was actually advocating a lot for the contestants on the reality show, and like no one, like, you know, people had bad things to say about Allison, who was the host, and the trainers, Bob and Jillian, but everyone was like, no, Dr. Huizinga was our advocate. He went to bat for us. I think it kind of shocked me because they kept him on for the entire run of the show. They didn't kick him off for having an opinion like they do a lot of the times. But I will say this was very like enlightening, and it was interesting to see like the behind the scenes of a show that was very abusive. Obviously as a kid I didn't know any better. But I'm also gonna say it was Evelyn. I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. I kind of want to rewatch the documentary because it's only like 3 episodes. And they're an hour long each, so like 3 hours. Let's go to podcasts. We have Clues. Clues is a classic, a hubby Sebastian. A true crime podcast, love it, with Morgan Abshar. I never can remember the other girl's name, I'm so sorry. I just listen to that like when I'm getting ready in the morning. Another true crime podcast, we have True Crime with Kendall Ray. I used to watch her when on YouTube, but lately I've been listening to her videos as like in podcast format on Spotify, and I find that I'm enjoying them a lot more. It's still Alex. I love what she does and what she's about, and she's very like into victims advocacy and supporting the families of victims, and she works a lot with families of victims too. She's just not my favorite. It's just not my preference. I really can't say anything bad. It's just not my preference. I'm sorry. I still really like her, and I still listen to her. And then the last podcast I have is Murders in America. This is another true crime podcast, and they kind of go like different states, trying to do cases in different states. And from the way it was sounding, they would sometimes go to those states and like see the like places that were important to the cases. I'm gonna have to put this in Abigail though. I've only listened to like 2 or 3 episodes of Murders in America, but I will say those 2 or 3 episodes made me very uncomfortable to listen to, because true crime content in itself is very controversial, because you have to find a balance between taking advantage of a situation and just reporting on a situation. It's just like the language they use sometimes just made me very uncomfortable with the way they were talking about victims and the cases and stuff. And then also, I think, I'm not positive, but I think they do run a paranormal podcast where they go and investigate paranormal sites and like kind of like BuzzFeed Unsolved Supernatural, I guess. That's not the bad thing. The bad thing is, at the end of at least the 2 to 3 episodes that I listened to, they would always mention like going and testing out the paranormalcy of a different site. Their sign-off had something to do with like, the dead don't always talk, or do they, or something like that, and like that kind of just made me uncomfortable. What if they were speaking about someone I knew who passed like that? Like, I wouldn't like that. That one just made me uncomfortable. If you like it, that's good for you. I just didn't like the language that was used. Let's just do books, because movies and albums have a story. We have Touch of Fate here again. I listened to the audiobook for this one, and I actually really liked it. It's gonna go in Huppy Sebastian. I'm not a huge audiobook person. I prefer physically reading books. I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, audiobooks aren't reading, that doesn't count as reading. It's just not my preference. I don't like them. If I do listen to an audiobook, it can't be like a new book for me. It has to be a book that I've already read that I'm listening to. And as we know, I've read Touch of Fate, so that's why I listened to it, because I had a long road trip I had to go on. So I put on Touch of Fate, and I really liked it. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna move the Touch of Fate audiobook down to Evelyn, because I do have like one major gripe with it. They do have 2 actors, one for Samuel, one for Emma. The bad thing was, when, like, say we were in Emma's POV and Samuel started talking, they didn't have the Samuel voice actor speak. They would have the girl who was narrating for Emma speak in, like, a deeper tone. And I was like, he's right there. Like, he can do it. So I didn't like that, but overall, I really liked this one. This was probably one of the better audiobooks I've listened to. We have Cock Down the Block. I think this is by Amy Awad, but I'm not 100% positive on this one. This is basically about childhood best friends to lovers. This girl, I can't remember any of their names, so I'm going to apologize now for not knowing their names. She moves in, she went to college, and then she's like a librarian. She moves in next door to her famous football star high school best friend, who he has been wanting her since high school, but like they went their separate ways in college, and then she moved back in and he's like, fuck, I still want her bad. He's like down bad. And she moves into the house next to his. She has like a chicken coop. That's why it's called the Cock Down the Block, because she has a rooster. When she moves in, she has to like help plan her high school reunion, and she was like bullied in high school because she's plus size. Like the queen bees are there who used to bully her, and she's like, well, I'm dating the famous football player I live next door to. And the guy's like, fuck yes. So when she's like, oh, we got a fake date, he's like, yeah, well, fake date. The guy, I don't remember his name, but he has like a ton of brothers. The rest of the books follows his brothers. I really liked this book. I'm gonna say it was Evelyn. I am very interested in continuing the series, especially because, again, I loved the brothers. And they all live in the same cul-de-sac because of like, minor spoiler, but it's revealed in this book that like the cul-de-sac they live on, the oldest brother, who this book is about, he's the oldest. He actually owns all the houses in the cul-de-sac. So like when someone moves out, he just gives it to his brother. So like they all live like right next door to each other basically. But yeah, it was really fun. I really liked it. Plus size woman didn't think she couldn't date the football star because she was plus size. She was just like, no, that's just my high school best friend. Like, why would we date? Like, she's like, yeah, he's attractive, but I wouldn't date. He's my high school best friend. And I liked that. So I did really like that because she was a very body positive woman. And I feel like you don't get a lot of plus size romances that are like that. Even though I'm not plus size, it was just nice to see it. We have Allegiant, which is the 3rd and final book in the Divergent series. I basically read this for the first time. I think this was in previous monthly wrap-ups, but when I was in middle school. I read the Divergent series and I was really into it, and then Allegiant came out and I like was in middle school, so I had a short ass attention span, shorter than now, and I never read it. And it's been years since I've read Divergent, so I reread the first 2 Divergent books to get caught up so I could finally read Allegiant and just get that series done with. And I actually thoroughly enjoyed Allegiant. I'm gonna put it in Alex though. It obviously is not the best book in the series and the ending isn't great. I wasn't too shocked by the ending because I knew going into it what it was gonna be, but it was like everything leading up to the ending. I was like, what are we doing? Like, I feel like Veronica Roth added shit in this book that didn't need to be added just for like shock value, and that's not my favorite thing in the world. I'm reading a book right now that feels like it's just adding shit for shock value, and I'm like, if you want something shocking, it needs that purpose and not just to shock me. The last book we have is Bossy Devil. This is the last book in the Nashville Devil series. This is a professional hockey romance, so they're like a NHL team. This is a second chance romance between these two people. I don't remember their names. They were high school sweethearts. One is Gordon. The guy's is Gordon, but I don't remember the girl's name. I think it might have been Riley. I think the girl's name was Riley, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. And we've seen Gordon throughout the entire series. He's not a hockey player. He is an ex-hockey player, but he had an injury when he was in the NHL and it shattered his knee and he can't skate anymore. So he is the owner of the Nashville Devils with his sister, and his sister, her book was actually the first book in the series. So we know her story, but like we have seen like throughout the series, Gordon is just a grump. He's not really into anything. He's a bossy devil. Riley and Gordon have not spoken to each other since high school. They were high school sweethearts. They were so fucking in love. Gordon was gonna go to the NHL in Boston and Riley was gonna follow him and go to college in Boston. But something happened and that didn't end up happening, and they haven't spoken to each other in I think it's 13 or 12 years, something like that. But all of a sudden, they see each other. Riley just so happens to be at an event at the hockey arena that Gordon was attending, and he sees her, Gordon's fucking sister, manipulates the situation so that way Riley actually gets hired to be an assistant to the Nashville Devils, so they are around each other all the time because everyone besides those two think they should get together because they can see that there's still chemistry there, there's still something there. Eventually, they do end up rekindling that flame, but it does take a lot to get there. I am not usually a fan of second chances romances, I will say. This is the exception. There was a legitimate reason for why they broke up. It reminded me a lot of like why I like the second chance romance Resting Witch Face. There was a reason why they broke up and you kind of understood it. You saw the characters grow and there was ample time for them to get back together and you get to see them as a couple again. So for that reason, I am going to put in Evelyn. Again, that was the last book in the series, so I am glad to have that series like kind of out of my way. It's not my favorite book though in the series. I would say my favorite is probably, I don't remember what their names are, but it's like the third or the fourth one. I would have to reread them all together though to like know for sure. But maybe I'll do that and I can do like a series review. Okay, we're gonna do movies next because one of these movies is gonna lead into albums. First we have Mulan. Mulan was my favorite movie as a kid. I just don't know why. I felt like rewatching it this month and it still slaps. It's still a banger. Mulan is going in Hubby Sebastian. Like, let's be so fucking for real for a second. Then we have the Unknown Caller High School Catfish documentary. This is actually gonna go in Marnie. I was thoroughly invested in this when I was watching it, but then like when I finished it, I don't know. I kind of felt icky, and then like the discourse on TikTok, because I got a lot of TikTok discourse, of course, after watching it. That didn't make me feel great either about it. I don't blame the victims, the two main victims, and I don't blame the other people who got questioned about it. Some of the other parents just weren't my favorite. Person who we find out was the catfish, I feel like didn't have enough repercussions. Then we have this little movie, maybe you heard of it. It's called K-Pop Demon Hunters. I'm planning a video all about K-Pop Demon Hunters that I'm still writing the script for it right now because I'm too busy rewatching K-Pop Demon Hunters to actually write the script. But I watched this when I came back from my vacation, which was like, as of today, as of me filming this, like 15-ish days ago. I've already seen this 4 times. I saw the scene alone in theaters. I cry every time I put it on now. I put this on and like, oh my god, why is everyone talking about K-Pop Demon Hunters? What is this movie? And then I started crying. I have told all my friends at work about it. I told my best friend she had to watch it. Again, I saw the scene alone in theaters. I did a special makeup for the scene alone in theaters. I've been reading fan fiction. I have considered writing my own fan fiction because the fan fiction I want to read I cannot find on AO3. Any K-Pop Demon Hunter fan fiction, by the way, that you have that you love, please let me know in the comments. Zoe and Mystery are my favorite couple to read fanfiction about, so preferred Zoe and Mystery fanfiction, but I will also do Rumi and Jinu, and then Mira with either romance or ab. I'm not a huge fan of the throuple, so like one or the other, please. But obviously K-Pop Demon Hunters is going to Hubby Sebastian. It is going to the top of Hubby Sebastian, actually. It beat Dead by Daylight. Then we have the K-Pop Demon Hunters soundtrack also right there. We're just gonna put them together. You can't separate them. And then because I was so obsessed with K-Pop Demon Hunters, I'm like, I want to listen to K-pop because I've never really listened to K-pop before. I'm going to talk about this. This is actually in what I have so far, the script of K-Pop Demon Hunters. but I never really listened to K-pop before. I would listen to a song here or there, but it was never something I like listened to. So I tried to listen to some K-pop today, and I found out I don't like listening to K-pop albums like I do a lot of my pop girlies, but I like listening to K-pop mixes on Spotify and just getting a different variety. Maybe eventually I'll find like certain bands or something that I like, but right now I'm just liking different songs from different people. But I did listen to one full K-pop album because it actually came out around the time I watched K-pop Demon Hunters, so it just made sense in my brain. And that was the Stray Kids Karma album, and it's also gonna go in Marnie. It just wasn't my favorite. Again, I think if I'm listening to K-pop, I prefer mixes. I will say, ever since listening to this album though, I have been getting a lot of Stray Kids TikToks, and I do approve. And then lastly, to wrap it all up, we have Sabrina Carpenter's new album, Man's Best Friend. This one's gonna go in Alex, unfortunately. Just not my favorite. I do have some standout songs, like I like Tears, Man-Child. Those are kind of it. The first two songs on the soundtrack are my favorites, and maybe it's because I haven't been able to listen to it enough, but I have listened to it at least 3 times all the way through, and I still couldn't tell you any of the other songs that are on this album. It's just not my favorite. I do greatly prefer Short and Sweet. I just want to say my dislike of it is not because of the whole like, oh, Sabrina Carpenter is setting women back. I just prefer Short and Sweet a lot more, and a lot of the songs just aren't my favorite on this album. I already guaranteed K-pop Demon Hunters, by the way, is going to be in the September one because I'm filming this on September 3rd, and I was watching it while I was getting ready to film this, and I'm going to be finishing it right after I turn off this camera. But as we see here, look at us. Look at this. Oh my god, wait, it's kind of like a pyramid. Like if you take that one out, it's kind of like a pyramid. Okay, I gotta turn this off so I can go watch K-pop Demon Hunters again. Bye!